Good evening. The Board of Trustees of Cypress-Fairbanks Independent School District is now convened in a regular meeting on Thursday, June 26, 2014, in the boardroom of the Cypress-Fairbanks Independent School District Instructional Support Center, 10,000 cover. Hang on, Bob, you all right? It happens at your age, I know. Please edit this tape. Please. It's okay, it's just a rash. Was that on purpose? It is summer. I want to welcome the members of our audience and our television viewers that are still there to this meeting of the Board of Trustees. As the Cypress-Fairbanks Board of Trustees, we're here to set goals, listen to reports, approve budgets, contracts, personnel appointments, and make policy for the district. It is not the role of the board to make day-to-day operational decisions. The management and day-to-day operations of the district are the responsibility of the superintendent. We have policies and procedures in place to resolve concerns and issues. This is a public meeting of the Board of Trustees, not a meeting of the public. Prior to this meeting, board members received information related to items on tonight's agenda. Agenda items will not necessarily be handled in the order listed on the notice. The meeting is open to all who wish to attend and hear the matters discussed. During the course of this meeting, the board may determine that a closed session is necessary. In that event, the board will meet in closed session to consider matters duly posted for this meeting as permitted by Section 551.071 to 551.084, inclusive of the Texas Government Code. These proceedings are airing live on CFTV, Channel 16, unfortunately, and CFTV online on the district website. They will also be rebroadcast throughout the month on Channel 16 and available as video on demand on the website. For the tape to adequately reflect the proceedings, I respectfully ask that you please refrain from talking while others are speaking and that cell phones are turned off or in silent mode. Thank you for taking the time to join us this evening and for your interest in the Cypress-Fairbanks Independent School District. Tonight's invocation will be presented by Teresa Hull, Associate Superintendent for Governmental Relations, Communications, and Chief of Staff. Please stand for the invocation and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag.
Please bow your head. Our Heavenly God, as our school board works through its agenda this evening, we ask for your blessings on them as they make the best decisions for the students and employees in our district. We pray that they continue to seek your guidance as they work through the challenges of leadership. We pray especially for the children in our community, that their summer is safe and healthy. We thank you for the seniors who have just graduated. Be ever present in their lives as they take those next important steps. And as we always do, dear Lord, we pray for the safety of those men and women who are defending our freedom. Guide the rest of us to defend them in everyday opportunities we have. In your holy name we pray, amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated.
Board Member Tom Jackson will read the district's vision and mission statement for the benefit of the audience.
Our vision statement: learn, empower, achieve, dream, lead. Our mission statement: maximize every student's potential through rigorous and relevant learning experiences, preparing students to be 21st century global leaders.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. Before we begin, I want to recognize our AVP team tonight. From Jersey Village High School, we have Keitha Hanks, Claire Weinman, Shane O'Neill that graduated in 2013, and from Cypress Ranch we have Kate Romlin, and their AVP advisors are Cindy Stoker and Dusty Boucher. So we appreciate you guys being here, especially during the summer. We will now move on to this evening's special recognitions portion of the agenda. Agenda item 1A, the board will recognize the annual top volume buyer from the 2014 CFISD Livestock Show and Sale, Ms. Denise Quebeca.
Mr. Ryan, Board of Trustees, and Dr. Henry, It is my pleasure to present to you some members of the community that have gone above and beyond to support the students in our agriculture science education program. At the 2014 CFISD livestock sale in February, our community pledged over $800,000. $78,900 of that came from Crane Rental Division Incorporated, including the record-setting $50,000 bid for the Grand Champion steer. While the 15 students from whom they bought projects have already thanked them individually, on behalf of the CFISD Livestock Show Association as a whole, we would like to present them with the 8th annual Volume Buyer Buckle and Blanket. I have some FFA representatives bringing those forward. At this time, I'd like to invite Sam and Peggy Ferrugia and Angela and Tanner Francione to step forward and be recognized. On behalf of almost 600 students that showed over 700 projects at this year's show, we would like to present them with this commemorative blanket and belt buckle. If you have never been to our district livestock show, I encourage you to mark your calendars for the first week of February and join us at the Exhibit Center for the 2015 show. It is an amazing site that is made possible by people like the good folks at Crane Rental Division Incorporated. I now invite you all to join me once again to thank the Ferrugia family, Crane Rental Division Incorporated, and all the other community members who make a difference in the lives of our students by getting involved.
Thank you so much for your generosity. And Mr. Covey and I have attended several of the livestock shows, and it's awesome to have business partners like that that benefit the kids and the scholarship money that they receive. And it couldn't happen without people like this in the community that are so generous. So thank you very much. Agenda item 1B, the board will recognize reporters from the community named to the 2014 Media Honor Roll, a program sponsored by the Texas Association of School Boards. TASB recognizes media representatives statewide for fair and balanced reporting of news about public schools. Our presenter is Ms. Nicole Ray. Nicole?
Thank you. Good evening, President Ryan, Board of Trustees, and Dr. Henry. It's my pleasure tonight to present the winners of the 2013-2014 Texas Association of School Boards Media Honor Roll. As you mentioned, this is a statewide contest, and these representatives are chosen from newspapers, radios and television stations, and online publications. They're being honored statewide by their districts. Tonight, I'm proud to announce our honorees are Kelly Ray with Community Impact, Adam Coleman with the Cypress Creek Mirror, and Lindsay Payton with the Houston Chronicle. If you'll please step forward, we'll present you with your awards. And Lindsay can't join us tonight, so we'll present her award in private. So Kelly and Adam, come on up. If you could give them a round of applause. Kelly Ray is being recognized for Community Impact's dynamic and engaging coverage of CFISD, as well as a commitment to the district through frequent sponsorships and partnerships, including an adoption of Jersey Village High School with a backyard grill. Adam Coleman is being recognized for his outstanding and in-depth coverage of CFISD athletics during the 2013-2014 year, including a very strong social media presence. For those of you that follow Adam, he's got over 6,000 Twitter followers at his @CyPhairsSports, and he is truly an icon throughout our district. He keeps the buzz going about everything sports in Cy-Fair. So let's give them another round of applause, and I actually have, here you go, a couple of framed plaques for them. And I'd also like to invite any of their family members that are here that can stand up tonight so that we can recognize you as well. Adam and Kelly, thank you so much for all that you do for Cy-Fair and our entire community. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Nicole. I'm one of Adam's followers, and I can tell you, I don't know how he gets everywhere he gets. For the longest time, I thought he had like a twin brother or something and he doesn't just report on football. I mean, at a cross-country meet, at anything, he's there. And Kelly, you do so much with our, also on our community panels and stuff like that. So we appreciate both you guys. You're really assets to our community. And we're going to dismiss in a minute after Mark because I know your son Jack wants to go out to eat with his grandparents. It's the only reason he came. Agenda item 1C, the superintendent will make remarks and announcements, including the honors and achievements earned by staff and students in recent weeks. Dr. Henry.
Thank you, Mr. President. And before I start my remarks, I would like to add that Kelly and Adam, we so appreciate the work that you do. You're part of the fabric of this community, and you're what makes Cy-Fair so special. And our friends at Crane Rentals, as our Mr. Ryan said, it is so much fun to go to that livestock auction and watch y'all operate. It's and just how you make our students' faces light up with your generosity. Thank you so much on behalf of this community and on behalf of our students. 5 CFISD Air Force Junior ROTC units recently received National Unit Award. Cy-Fair, Langham Creek, and Cy Creek earned the Distinguished Unit Award. Cy Springs and Jersey Village earned Outstanding Organization Award. CFISD students, 2 each from Cy Woods and Cy Creek, captured state championships and second-place medals at the University Interscholastic League Class 5A Academics Spring Meet. The Campbell Middle School Symphonic Band received unanimous First Division ratings, the Best in Class Award, and the Grand Champion Best Band Award at the Alamo Showcase of Music. The CFISD New Arrival Center program recently held its annual graduation. Since the program began 9 years ago, a total of 380 students have successfully learned English to complete the program. Not only has the program grown, but the graduation rate is 95%. Currently, there are 452 NAC students enrolled in the program at 4 elementary, 5 middle, and 4 high school sites. The Cy Ranch Key Club won second place overall at the Texas-Oklahoma District Convention. Cy Ranch, Cy Falls, Cy Woods, and Jersey Village students also received numerous awards and scholarships. In baseball, Cy-Fair and Langham Creek won their Region 3 5A quarterfinal playoff games to advance to the semifinals where their season ended. Cy-Fair head football coach and athletic director Ed Pajowski was recently inducted into the Greater Houston Football Coaches Association Hall of Honor. Of the 72 all-time members inducted, 10 are from CFISD. 6 of our seniors, 3 each from Cy Ranch and Jersey Village, were named to the Texas High School Coaches Association Academic All-State first and second teams. The Touchdown Club of Houston named 3 of our seniors as 2014 Scholar Athlete Award recipients, and 1 was named Outstanding Male Scholar Athlete of the Year. 2 others were named as winners, and 3 others were finalists in their respective sports. Certainly, we congratulate all of our talented students, teachers, and staff. This is just a small sampling of many of the great things that are going on throughout our district. We recently selected new principals for Alt, Duryea, and Frazier Elementaries. I will now turn it over to Roy Garcia for introductions. Mr. Garcia.
Thank you, Dr. Henry. President Ryan and Board of Trustees, as Dr. Henry stated, we recently announced 3 principal assignments and would like to formally introduce those individuals to you and to the CFISD community this evening. We will begin with our new principal for Alt Elementary, Mr. Jeff Lecoq. Jeff received his Bachelor of Science from the University of Texas at Austin and his Master of Education from Sam Houston State University. In addition, Jeff recently completed the Rice Educational Entrepreneurship Program at Rice University. Jeff has 17 years in the education profession. He was a teacher at Sheridan Elementary for 4 years, served as an assistant principal at Frazier for 7 years and then has been the principal at Fraser for the past 6 years. When Jeff is not working, he enjoys spending time with his family, riding his bike, and supporting the Longhorns. Jeff and his wife Shani, who is an assistant principal at Keith Elementary, have 3 beautiful daughters, Mia and Brooklyn, who are 3-year-old fraternal twins, and Charlie, who is 16 months old. Please join me in congratulating Jeff on his new leadership assignment.
Dr. Henry, President Ryan, members of the board, I would like to thank you for the opportunity to take on this new leadership position. I greatly look forward to working with the students, staff, and community at Alt. I'm going from being a Fraser Gator to an Alt All-Star, and that's very exciting. Had 13 great years at Fraser, 7 as assistant principal, 6 as a principal, but I really look forward to this new leadership growth opportunity, and I'd like to thank you for giving me this opportunity. And at this time, once again, I'd like to formally introduce members of my family, if I can corral them. Okay, this is my wife, Shani. Shani is an assistant principal at Keith Elementary. Here's Mia. Mia, she's right here. She's 3 years old, and Brooklyn back here, and Charlie, who is 16 months. And there she is. You might want to take a quick look at her because she's probably going to have to leave real fast. But again, thank you very much, and I look forward to working with the Fairfield community and Alt and all the stakeholders at Alt Elementary School. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jeff. Our next announcement is for our new principal at Duryea Elementary, Mr. Kenneth Henry. Kenneth received his Bachelor of Arts from Lamar University and his Master of Education from Concordia University. Kenneth served as a regular and special education teacher in Texas City and Lamarck ISD. He also served as a teacher and social worker in Galveston ISD before joining the Cy-Fair family in 2005. As a member of the CFISD team, he served as a teacher and at-risk coordinator at Lee Elementary and as an assistant principal at Holmesley Elementary. Kenneth also served as an assistant principal at the Alternative Learning Center West. When Kenneth is not working, he enjoys spending time with his family, and he also shared that he enjoys writing poetry. Kenneth and his wife, Andrea, have 2 children, Kenneth Henry III, who is 17, and Kenson, who is 10. Please join me in congratulating Kenneth on his new leadership assignment.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Garcia, President Ryan, and Dr. Henry. I'm extremely honored and excited about this opportunity to lead Duryea into the future. I have to start off by thanking my wife, who's been my biggest supporter and best friend for many years, dating back to when we were just college students trying to figure out what we were going to do with our careers. My 2 sons, my biggest inspiration. I'm very, very happy that my mother is here, who started grooming me at a very young age and taught me how love and faith and respect can take you very far in life. So I'm happy that she's here this evening to spend this time with us. I have my sister here, Kamara, and my brother, Dedrick, and our extended family. I want to thank them, and I have to thank my brother, who is an educator and really is the reason why I entered into the field. He took me at 18 and made me come and work at a summer math camp with him, and that kind of started me on, so I appreciate that. I have some extended professional family here today. I have my Holmesley family, raise your hand. I have some Lee family here, I know. And I have to thank all of them, AOC or my current Duryea family. If anyone is here, I want to thank you all for being here and supporting me. And lastly, I have to thank the leadership that I have had here in Cy-Fair. Like many others, I am truly a product of some remarkable leadership here within the district. I don't see her, but I want to thank Christina Cole. She really taught me the power of encouragement, despite how negative things can be. Jody Madison, she taught me, I think, the power of balance as a leader. I want to thank Evelyn Shelton, who took me in summer school and taught me that you should still grow as a professional in summer school and grow others. And most importantly, I have to thank Barbara Fine, who I couldn't even start to tell you everything I learned under Barbara Fine, but I thank her most for teaching me the power of passion as a principal. I thank you all, and I can't wait to give to Duryea what Cy-Fair has given to me.
Thank you, Kenneth. Our final principal announcement this evening is for our new principal at Frazier Elementary School, Miss Gloria Vasquez. Gloria received her Bachelor of Science, Master of Science in Counseling, and her Master of Science in Education from the University of Houston. She has 15 years in the education profession. She has served as an elementary teacher for 6 years, as a counselor and bilingual instructional specialist, and as the assistant principal, all in Galena Park ISD. Gloria's most recent position was serving as the principal at Cimarron Elementary School in Galena Park. Gloria and her husband David have been married for 20 years. They shared that they have 3 great kids: David, who is 19 and attends the University of Houston, Alyssa, who is 14, and Adam, who is 9. Gloria, we're extremely excited to welcome you to the Cy-Fair family. Everyone, please join me in congratulating Gloria on her new leadership assignment.
Thank you. And good evening, Dr. Henry, President Ray, and members of the board. I first want to start off by saying thank you so much for the opportunity to come home to Cy-Fair ISD. I'm very excited and honored that I get to share the rest of my leadership journey with this wonderful district. I'd also like to say that the welcome to Cy-Fair has been overwhelmingly generous. I can't say enough how welcome everyone has been, how supportive. The first day after I was formally announced, my email was blown up with emails from everyone just giving me a warm welcome to the family. So I'm very, very excited, and I feel honored about the opportunity. So thank you so much. At this time, I'm going to introduce the biggest supporters of my journey. As we all know, being a principal and a leader takes its toll. It's long hours and tremendous investment of everything. If you do your job, you do it with your whole heart. And so I want to introduce at this time my husband of 20 years. He's put up with me for 20 long years, David Vasquez. And my son, 19-year-old David Jr., he is also just one of my greatest inspirations. Alyssa Vasquez, she's 14, and I'm going to bring her to Cy-Fair as soon as I can. She's kind of tied up in band right now, but she needs to come over here. And then Adam is 9 years old, Adam. And then my dearest friend and mentor, Crystal Murray. She is an assistant superintendent right now at Galena Park ISD and has been my mentor during my long journey as a leader. And so I'm very appreciative of all of their support. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Roy. Before we continue, I need to recognize the music that you might have heard coming in, because we were just asking each other if we heard it, was the Cypress Falls Orchestra, and Mr. John Ricarte is the director. The board will now recess so that a public hearing may be held. If any patron wishes to address the board pertaining to the Children's Internet Protection Act for Internet filtering and Internet safety, please see Ms. Ray. Nicole, where are you? Okay, once you find Nicole, there she is. She's in the back. If you can find Nicole, you can talk. Each speaker will be given 2 minutes to address the board. Ms. Christine Hartley, Secretary of the Board, will be the designated timekeeper. Our presenters tonight will be Stuart Snow and Frankie Jackson. Stuart?
Thank you, President Ryan, members of the board, and Dr. Henry. The district is required to annually conduct a public hearing to inform the community of the district's policies and the practices in connection with the Children's Internet Protection Act for, as you mentioned, internet filtering and internet safety. At this time, I will turn it over to Frankie Jackson, who is our Chief Technology Officer, who will make a presentation.
Good evening, Dr. Henry, President Ryan, members of the board, and members of the public. I'll be speaking tonight about the Children's Internet Protection Act, and I'd like to go ahead and get started. I'm going to discuss the background of what the Children's Internet Protection Act is all about, talk about the requirements of the act, and then what we're doing as a district at Cy-Fair to comply with the act. And from this point forward, I'm going to call it SIPA, so I don't have to repeat that. At the very end, we'll have time for questions. Just to give you a little bit of background, SIPA addresses concerns about keeping students safe on the internet. Though the internet is one of the most valuable resources for learning and instruction, there is harmful content that is available on the internet, and it's our responsibility to keep our students safe while they're in an instructional environment and surfing the internet and doing their work on the internet. SIPA imposes requirements on schools that receive discounts for internet access or for internal connections. And those discounts come through a program called E-Rate. You may remember in March we brought forward probably 10 requests for proposals that you approved as we went through the process of applying for E-Rate funding. E-Rate is managed by the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission of the United States government, and in a nutshell, it is the way that the government assures that school districts comply with the SIPA requirements. They hold the funding as a means to make certain that those districts comply. E-Rate funding discounts are significant. You may remember that in March we brought forth a plan, and we have asked for $25 million plus in E-Rate funding. That's a significant amount of money, all of which would be applied to our bond funds and offset some of the costs for our bond funds so that we can then spend those funds on other areas that may be needed or to apply those funds to our technology program. Again, the funding is significant, so it's very important, not only that we, mostly important to keep our students safe, but also there is a funding associated with E-Rate, and we need to be SIPA compliant. We've already received, confirmed as of June 23rd, we've already received confirmation that our district will be receiving funding over $300,000 just so far. So that's great news for our district, and I'm proud to bring that funding to Cy-Fair technology program and to our students. One of the parameters of the technology plan is that to have an approved technology plan, we must be SIPA compliant. And there's actually a check mark as we submit our technology plan whereby we certify that we are SIPA compliant. That is our actual check box that came from our technology plan. And the great news is that our technology plan was recently updated, and it was approved in May 2014. So we were excited when we received our certificate, a letter of certificate, very early. We did not anticipate getting our approval until July, and it came very early in May, and so that's very good news for us. So the government, TEA, Texas Education Agency, certainly approved our plan, and again, that's great news. I'm going to move into the section of the agenda where I'm going to talk about the requirements, and the requirements really came about in the year 2000. And the FCC basically told all school districts across the nation that we, as a school district, would need to hold a public hearing, which we're doing so tonight, to address our internet safety policies. And some of the things that are in those requirements is to make certain that we're providing a safe environment for our students as they use email, as they use chat rooms, and other forms of direct electronic communications. Also, to prevent them from accessing unauthorized sites that may be unlawful, and to educate them in the use of those, and to put measures in place designed to restrict minors to those harmful materials. Those are the requirements that were set forth in the year 2000. In the year 2011, the FCC came back and in July levied a requirement that districts would also need to start educating minors on the appropriate use. I don't think any of us thought in the year 2000 that the social media would be where it is today. So the FCC did address many of the new technologies that were becoming part of everyday life for students, such as Facebook, YouTube, and also even cyberbullying. So those were some new requirements that came into play in the year 2012. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how we comply with SIPA. A public hearing about internet safety policies and procedures was conducted in June 2001. That was a long time ago. So we're here this evening to revisit and to re-inform our community and of course our Board of Trustees of what SIPA is all about and what we need to be doing to be compliant. In the year 2001, it was actually October 9th, I looked up the folder, did a lot of research to see where this district has been in terms of being compliant. The October 9th, 2001 board meeting, the SIPA compliance was addressed, and it was addressed in CQ Local, and it was approved at that meeting. And then again in 2011, CQ Local was updated and revised on September 11th and approved by the Board of Trustees. Some of you may remember that if you were on the board at that time. This public hearing tonight, in June of 2014, we're going to roll forward and talk about what our internet safety policies are today and how we're compliant today with the SIPA requirements. So from this point forward, I'll be talking about what we're doing to be compliant. The first thing we have to do is give a notice of public hearing, which we did in the Houston Chronicle on Friday. It was Friday the 13th of June. The public hearing notice came out in the Houston Chronicle, and that's an actual clipping. And it's interesting because with E-rate, when you do comply with E-rate, they actually require that you have the actual newspaper clipping and that it's posted in advance of the board meeting. This is the actual clipping. We'll keep that on file in the event we have an audit for our E-rate funding. How we comply, we basically do three things, and this I'm ever amazed and impressed with how this district has been managed in the past. I'm going to talk about our protection, what protection measures we have in place, what our policies are, and what our education is in terms of keeping students safe online. We have with us an honored guest, that's Greg Rhodes. Greg, can you wave your hand? Greg is the individual in Paula Ross's team and our network management operations team. Those two individuals work to manage a very robust process for keeping our students safe on the internet with a content filter, and it basically just acts as a firewall to restrict access not only for students but also for employees to inappropriate information. And often you'll find this even at your own home or probably in your own jobs that many times it's inadvertent that you access sites that are inappropriate and you quickly back out of those. A content filter for a district this size is an important component of the network and is something that we take very seriously, and Greg Rhodes has done a fabulous job, and I'm proud that he's here in the event you have some technical questions. If we were to look back at the history of the products that have been used, it's kind of interesting because if you look, it's about every 5 years the district has gone through and looked at the content filter. Some of the companies, companies come and go. In 1997, we were using Border Manager, and I found out today that that's about the time that Greg came in. I think he came in during the time with Border Manager and Surf Control in the 2002 timeframe. TrustWave, which is what we've been running up until just very recently. We're in the process of migrating to a new product called FortiGate, and we're in the process of upgrading to that even this weekend. How it works is that every web access that a user, whether it be a student, a teacher, or a staff member, request, that access goes through a content filter, and if it is that the site is deemed appropriate based on categories and rules that have been set forth in the content filter, the user either is able to get to where they want to go, where they've requested to go on the internet, or they're blocked. So it's, I don't want to say a full-time job to manage, but it is certainly a process that's in place that is taken very seriously and monitored every moment of the day. If we look at Fortinet and what we're migrating to, it is one of the most robust content filters that are available for purchase. It's designed for education. It's also used in industry. It has the ability to keep up to date with the latest website ratings. It does granular blocking and filtering based on policies, categories, individual web pages. It's a very complex process to block and to determine what type of a user is making the request for access, what category that user may fall in, and what category of information they're trying to access on the internet. Fortinet is CIPA compliant. Blocking can be done at the application level. We can also deem a requirement so that if a website is a new website that has not been categorized, it can fall into an uncategorized or a non-rated site, and that site can be blocked. So it's very extensive in the monitoring and the reporting, and we're excited about bringing this new content filter to our district. Our policies. We have an employee handbook, we have an acceptable use policy, and we have a student policy. I've gone through each of these policies. I've got the page numbers. I pulled out some of the highlights. If you look in the employee handbook, there are requirements that unauthorized disclosure and use and dissemination of personal information regarding minors is a requirement of CIPA. We have in our handbook confidentiality and data and information specifically spelled out, and employees are required to sign this handbook each year. Our acceptable use policy, pages 2 through 7, addresses access by minors to inappropriate matter. It covers filtering, monitored use, risk, chat rooms, all the way down to mischief and what those consequences are. I'm not going to go through the entire policy. I do have a hot link in the presentation if you'd like for me to refer to the policy, but each and every one of the requirements of CIPA are addressed in our policies. The same with the student handbook, which is very similar to the employee handbook. The same type of requirements are specifically spelled out in our student handbook, and those are on pages 43 through 47 and listed under the electronic communication and data management and network internet responsible use guidelines. Moving to what we're doing in terms of educating our students, we have courses that are part of the Project Safety program that teach students about online behavior, including interactions related to cyberbullying, chat rooms, inappropriate websites, and social networking. Here's some of the curricular lesson plans that I was able to pull out to give you some examples of the courses in 6th grade, and then in 7th grade, and then also in 8th grade. Then in Project Safety in courses 9th through 12th grade, We teach students about online behavior, including interactions about social networking, inappropriate websites, chat rooms, and cyberbullying. And we probably don't want to spend the time going through the video, the Prezi. You can see that in your presentation. But online, it actually goes to an online presentation that is populated with a multitude of videos and interviews with students that are on Twitter, Facebook. I was very impressed with the detailed content that's included in the presentation online, and it's also available. If you'd like for me to click on that presentation, we can certainly go through it. It's probably a 4 or 5 minute video. So that's what we're doing in terms of education, and I will entertain questions.
Nicole, we didn't have anybody sign up, do we? Okay. Thank you very much, Frankie. Do any board members have questions?
Go ahead.
Christine?
I wanted to ask about, first, just basic, the project safety courses. What classes do those fall under, or are they a separate, is it a lesson plan? How does that play in the classroom?
I asked Gloria Cooper and Student Services for a list of the classes, when they were taught, what courses that they were taught in, and she provided that list for me. I certainly have access to it. Did not include it in the presentation, but those courses were taught in the early spring and were taught during varying courses, some during PE, some during social studies.
Okay.
We have representatives from curriculum and instruction that may want to add to that. I believe it was enough evidence to convince me that we were SIPA compliant and those courses were there.
Sure.
I think it is a reminder that it's critical, and that it needs to needs to be an area of focus in our district to assure that those types of courses are being addressed in our curriculum.
Okay, and then if, I know that even when you log on, to a district and you want to click on something funny on YouTube, it's blocked. And is there a procedure where if a teacher deems something necessary or helpful to a lesson, they can unblock whatever they want to look at, or is there guidelines or what?
There is a guideline. I think that, that's probably where Greg spends most of his time. I can feel him piercing at me, blocking and unblocking.
I'm sure. I can't imagine.
Yeah,
God bless you.
I think it's probably a full-time job. But the internet's dynamic, and so there certainly is different perspectives about censorship and what should be and should not be blocked. One of the initiatives that Becky Cook, Director of Instructional Technology, and I have discussed is that in the fall to convene a more stringent process for reviewing our categories and put forth an effort to streamline how we block and unblock, and to do a little bit better job in documenting that process.
Well, and I just wanted to say thank you. I know that this is a requirement to get the E-rate money, and I don't think people understand how many dollars come in through our E-rate. We have so many schools and children on free and reduced lunch, and that is a part of that.
Yes, it is.
And that's determined by how many we have. So we have a lot of children who qualify for this. And I just wanted to say thank you, and I know it's a requirement that's maybe by the feds, and so you could do the minimum, and you never do. It's the maximum, so I appreciate you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Christine. Dr. Ogletree?
Yes, this is, I'm sure you'll do an awesome job with this, and it's quite a challenge. My question is this system and all the work that you do, is it foolproof? Have there been any breaches? How are those things reported? Do we keep record of any complaints by parents, or what goes on in that regard?
We have a standard process. If any user comes across a site that needs to be blocked or unblocked, they work through the customer care center, the help desk, to report the activity of an inappropriate site. As far as has there been issues in the past, and is it foolproof? None of the products will guarantee that they're foolproof. I think there's certainly those products that work very well and that are less expensive and those that are more robust. And I would like to say that one of the reasons that we're moving to afford a gate, that it is more robust, and we are working to implement more stringent procedures.
Thank you, John. Any other questions from board members? Thank you, Frankie. Great job, and thanks to the team for doing this. Y'all did an excellent job. It's greatly proud. I think Christine summed it up very nicely.
Thank you.
Agenda item 3A. Any board member may make a comment during this portion of the agenda without prior posting being required. Comment items may not pertain to the character of any student, staff, or board member and may not be discussed or deliberated upon at this time. I'm actually going to take an executive privilege and go first tonight. Leslie Francis, are you in the back? You need to come up here. She is. Then she can hear me. Come all the way up here and just stand on that little X right there. I know. Most people shake when I do this to them. For those of you that don't know, Leslie had the inevitable task of revamping and redoing our district website. And our district website was not up to par. It wasn't very good. If you ask parents, Christine and I have talked about it, I'm on the board and parents would call me and say, hey, where do I go on the website? And I'm like, good luck. I said, you need to figure it out on your own. If you look at our new website, Leslie did a remarkable job. She really did. I've had more comments from parents that are like going, this is so easy to navigate. It's so informative. It's so much better. And then I got to thinking about, for prospective employees, that's really our brand. That's the first thing they see is our website. When people move into the community, that's the first thing they look and go, let's take a look at this website. It went from night to day. I mean, Leslie, I can't say enough. I know Nicole's a part of your team. Teresa's a part of your team. I'm sure others on the board will want to comment, but kudos to you, everyone. And she said she's for hire, $250 an hour. Build your own website. And then also, one other person I'd like to recognize, Ife Ogumake. Come on up here. I know you're there. Come on. We recently had 13 graduations? 14? Most of us sat through all of them. And Iffy pretty much ran the show. She said jump, and we all said how high. It was smooth. It was seamless. Chief Bragg, you and your team did a remarkable job because you know it's a traffic nightmare regardless of what you do. But y'all did a great job. And Beth at the Berry Center, remarkable job. I mean, it could not have gone any better. I think the icing on the cake was a ping pong table that someone brought. So that was spectacular. Thank you, Iffy. Great job. Well done. Yeah. Oh, yeah, and we had over 7,000 graduates besides the ping pong table. That was kind of neat, too. Thanks, Christine.
You're welcome. I'm like, that might have been a little bit.
I know. Any other board member? Christine, I know you have something you want to say.
And I do want to give kudos to the whole team that worked on the website. I went to one little meeting where they had it all laid out, and what would you want under this heading, what would you want under this heading, what should pop up there, and my little 30-minute thing was nothing compared to everything that they have done. It's amazing, it's beautiful, it's easy to use for parents and, like Don said, for prospective teachers coming in. So kudos for that. I was thinking about something today, and I decided to write it down a little bit so I could process my thoughts. So my board comments are about, in the news recently, we've heard a lot about teacher evaluations and how these should be done. Houston ISD, unfortunately, has become a big part of this. I don't know if you've seen it on the news. They decided to use the EVOS system to determine how a teacher is effective or not. If my numbers are right, this formula uses standardized test scores as 50% of the evaluation in a highly technical formula. I did think I read that they've dropped it to 30% now. If we were in a business that truly involves only numbers, then maybe it would be appropriate. Or for like a business that analyzes agricultural research, as EVOS's parent company was founded on. I don't agree that a test score formula should carry such weight on a teacher's evaluation. There are so many factors that can affect a child's score. Are they having a bad day? What was the mood when they left the house? Do they have test anxiety? Were they up all night? Are they drunk? Are they stoned? Those things happen in our classroom, and it might be on a test day. Should the teacher be judged on that? Our teachers deal with this all the time. I had someone tell me their son said, "I am not defined by grades." Well, we're not, and we shouldn't be. But if the teacher's being graded on a child that says, "I'm not defined by grades," how is that teacher going to be successful in their evaluation? Don't get me wrong. It's true in a way. We're not defined by our grades. We're all human beings, and we all bring our positive, different areas to light. Teachers are the same. Of course, we must make sure that our teachers are doing the best job they can in educating and instilling a thirst for knowledge in our students. I just think we need to be appropriate in how we do this, and I'm very thankful that the administration and our superintendent here in Cy-Fair agree with that side. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hartley. Mr. Jackson, do you have anything you'd like to say?
Don't I always have something I like to say?
Well, I was just waiting for you to say, hey, I've got something I'd like to say.
At the Leadership RRR conference, Dr. Eric Cupp advised leaders to be clear, concise, and concrete in their communications. Sadly, I am none of those. However, as a good student, I will try. I am opposed to the new value-added teacher assessment, or as I choose to call it, VADA, as currently proposed by the state and federal sovereigns. I support the superintendent in his opposition to this assessment. When I taught a course that included statistics, I advised my students to pick the right technique, know the inherent failings of your selection, and never wear blinders in the evaluation of your results. So you may well ask, isn't the feel-good value-added teacher assessment the right metric? It is for the farming and ranching world of Texas. By necessity, it is used in the manufacturing world. But I ask you, are our children nothing more than crops in the field and our teachers nothing better than livestock? The answer is obviously no. Student testing should be for diagnostic purposes. It's a good metric, wrong application. So once again, you might ask, surely there are no failings of a proposal made by the state and federal sovereigns. In the case of value-added teacher assessment, or VADA, you only have a single-point estimate. Single-point estimates are interesting, but they do not lend themselves well to informed decision-making and can, in fact, cause great harm. Well, now you ask, what about those blinders? The culture of Cy-Fair is excellence using a family concept. Does VADA enhance or destroy that culture? Does it promote teamwork or reward individual behavior? The Cy-Fair model relies upon research-based incremental innovation. Does VADA promote incremental innovation, or does it create a resentful work environment that stifles creativity? Does a hostile work environment create inappropriate avenues of behavior? The Cy-Fair philosophy is equal access to quality education irrespective of zip code. Does VADA create an environment where teachers pick a safe haven to use their skills as opposed to one where the risk for them is greater? The Cy-Fair vision is to provide a quality education for students to be both career and college ready. Does VADA reward education of students, or does it rather promote teaching to the test? Our teachers are accountable. The district has software that currently matches student achievement on a teacher basis, and that data is reported to the state. Principals have access to this data in the reports. Must the sovereign dictate and control what we do here at the local level. I urge the rest of this board as well as management to cautiously implement this unfunded mandate when the edict arrives, as it surely will. Another set of comments, I always talk about my board steps. I followed in the footsteps of our board president and attended all of our graduations as well as the VIP celebration. Our style may be quite different, but the intent is the same. Graduations are a special moment in time. In support of the NAC program, I attended the celebration with Mr. Covey, but also stopped at a gathering where 2 of our NAC teachers were honored. A special takeaway was the observation from a retired professor of statistics that our NAC program might add value to the state approaching $38.8 million when compared to traditional methods. A special tip of the hat goes to my colleague, Mr. Covey, who is indefatigable, easy for y'all to say, in his support of our NAC graduates as he personally congratulated each and every one of them at graduation day. In support of the Superintendent's Junior Achievement Initiative, I found myself spending a day at one of our high schools, ostensibly talking about a career as a CPA, but in reality urging our students to strive for excellence as they personally raised the bar of expectations. I attended all 3 days at the RR conference. If I knew more, Linda, I could attend less often. A hallmark of an excellent enterprise is one that continually reinvests in its personnel and leaders. Special thanks go to the vendors who I peppered with my trademark pointed questions and as they patiently provided research-based answers. A table of ladies dragged me out of my comfort zone into quadrant D, but being good teachers, they did not let me fail and made certain that it was a positive experience. I was amazed at the number of principals, including many who were here this evening, who attended the leadership classes striving to become better at their craft. A special tip of the hat to Dr. Macias and all the others who made this conference a rousing success. For those of you who stopped to inquire, I thank you. For those of you who shared that you or a loved one was taking the journey, you remain in my prayers. I gave half a day in my tricorn to our Read 180 program. Amazing results can happen when you match superb teaching with excellent software. In support of the partnership with Lone Star College, I joined with my colleague, Mr. Covey and Ms. Mangolia, in welcoming LSE student leaders as well as administrative leaders to the Chamber Luncheon. I visited with the leadership and some of the members of each of our 3 employee organizations and listened to their concerns. Our employees at all levels, from top to bottom, make this district the truly remarkable entity that it is. And so tonight I tip my hat to each of you in that regard.
Anybody else have comments you want to make? Great. Agenda item 4. Oh, wait. Dr. Henry told me that we probably should go ahead and adjourn that hearing we had about 30 minutes ago. So that hearing's now adjourned. Thank you guys for doing that. Went really smooth. Agenda item 4A, patrons who have duly registered per policy BED local may address the board regarding matters of concern or interest to the district other than the character of any student, staff, or board member. Nicole, anybody sign up? All right, we're going to go on to the next one. The board received the following report at the Committee of the Whole meeting on Monday, June 23rd, 2014. 5A, the administration provided a written report on the School Health Advisory Council. Also, during the course of the Committee of the Whole meeting, it was the consensus of the board that the following action items be approved as submitted or amended. 6A, the board will consider awarding bids and contracts and are authorizing purchase orders as recommended in the posted agenda item. 6B, the board will consider approving the attached list of students for off-campus physical education, Category 1, for the 2014-2015 school year, fall. Agenda item C, the board will consider approving a request for a Texas Education Agency expedited waiver to modify the timeline for accelerated instruction. Agenda item D, the board will consider approving a request for a Texas Education Agency general waiver to opt out of participation in the teacher data portal of the Texas Assessment Management System for 2014-2015. Agenda item E, the board will consider approving construction proposals and contracts paid from bond funds to the recommended contractor and authorize the superintendent or designee to execute all necessary documents related to such contract as follows, and that was the Berry Center turf. Agenda item F, the board will consider approving the budget amendments for the period of April 1st, 2014 through June 30th, 2014. Agenda item G, the board will consider approving on second reading revisions to district policies, that was BP local and CFEA local. Agenda item H, the board will consider approving tax refunds of $500 or greater for Cypher ISD. Agenda item I, the board will consider approving the minutes of the May 5th, 2014 special called meeting. Agenda item J, the board will consider approving the minutes of the May 12th, 2014 regular meeting. Agenda item K, the board will consider approving the minutes of the May 19th, 2014 special called meeting. On Thursday, the following non-consent items were placed on the consent agenda, and that's agenda item 7A. The board will consider approving a resolution for the commitment of the district's fund balance. 7B, the board will consider a resolution approving the district's investment policy and investment strategy, the investment officers of the district, the independent sources of instruction relating to investment responsibilities for the investment officers of the district and investment training hours. 7C, the board will consider approving a resolution to reimburse itself for the costs associated with technology projects and purchase of buses from the proceeds of tax-exempt bond obligations to be issued at a subsequent date. 7D, the board will consider approving a resolution terminating services with the current 457 plan provider and allowing the district to move its plan to the ESC Region 10 457 co-op and master plan through an interlocal agreement with the Region 10 Education Service Center. Agenda item 7E, the board will consider approving a list of qualified financial institutions, brokers, dealers, and investment advisor that are authorized to engage in investment transactions with the district. 7F, the board will consider nominations for the large district member position on the TASB Board of Directors in TASB Region 4, Position F. Agenda item 7G, the board will consider approving the 2014 Harris County Protective Services interlocal agreement with the Harris County Protective Services for Children and Adults to provide community youth services for students and families in the Cypress-Fairbanks Independent School District. 7H, the board will consider approving the granting of a 0.0086 acre water meter easement to Harris County Municipal Utility District number 196 for water services to Woodard Elementary School number 54 and authorize the superintendent or designee to negotiate the final terms and execute all related documents. 7I, the board will consider approving the granting of the owner's ratification of plat for the future elementary school site at West Road and Marabella Drive. 7J, the board will consider approving on first reading additions, revisions, or deletions to district policies. Those policies were CCA local, DBE local, DC local, DH local, DK local, EHDC local. If any board member wishes to remove one or more items for further discussion, please do so at this time. If not, I will entertain a motion to approve the consensus items as recommended or amended.
Question, if I
Okay.
could. On item 7E.
Did you say E?
7E.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
And Stuart, if you could, on the list of broker-dealers, do these broker-dealers that are mentioned on this list, or do they have, is their association with with our district, is it dealing with bonds or what? Samco Capital Markets, Stern, AG,
These
what
are
are those?
These are companies that we call on when we are investing either bond proceeds or general fund cash or debt service tax receipts when we invest our funds. If they're not in one of the pools that are listed there, then we call on these broker-dealers to provide us with a bid on those investments, and that's how we use those.
Okay. And these, all of these we've used before, is that correct? That are listed here, are any of these?
We have used, there are some changes, and I was trying to find my copy so that I could go through that with you, if you bear with me just a moment. Okay, here it is. BOSC is added this year. Wells Fargo Securities is added. There is a change from last year. We had Southwest Securities was one of the broker-dealers that was listed and approved by the board. They have been removed for this year. And we added, under the investment pools, Texas Class. We also added as an investment advisor, Public Trust Advisors this year, and that's solely if the district desires to invest in any commercial paper, and they would help us to do that. So those are the changes.
Now, if we approve this list of business entities and brokers and dealers, this will be the exclusive list. We will not be able to use anyone else until after 2015.
That's correct. We approve these annually, and so these would be the pool of broker-dealers that we would use for investment purposes for the remainder of the year, and then we would come back next year and ask that you approve another list at that time.
Okay. All right.
Any other questions from board members? Mr. Jackson, do you have a question?
Did you want to go ahead and move and get a second and then open for questions, or does it matter?
Either way, whatever. If you have a question, go ahead and ask it.
This is the question that I mentioned from the work session that I said I wanted to defer until tonight. This is item 5A. Item 18, the software license and maintenance renewal and expansion. It's page 186 of the board book. It has to do with Achieve 3000 reading software. This is a web-based differentiated K through 12 reading program that uses email technology and current events. Linda, I wanted you to give us just a brief overview of this program. And this was a session that was available at the RRR conference. And the results are fairly dramatic, particularly when you identify what district the results happen to be from. So the microphone is yours, please.
Mr. Jackson, the Achieve 3000 program is a reading program that provides differentiated reading for our students. So students, depending on their level, read a specific topic or content, but it's the same specific topic or content, just different based on the reading levels, the readability of it. We do have this program at all of our elementary and our middle schools. And what you see up here is the information from this past year. And you'll see that the gains that our students made in Lexile levels is basically reading levels, is quite impressive. They had an average of about 98 points. And kind of to give you a comparison to that, it's a little different in as far as what one level growth is, or one grade level growth is, but it's right around 100, right around 100 points. So you can see that it's very significant that our students that were in the program made about one grade level growth. If you look at the bottom chart, that's actually, that was all of our students, that top chart. The bottom chart pulled the students who used this program with fidelity. And fidelity to Achieve 3000 means that there were at least 80 sessions that were utilized by the students. And each session, that's about using it twice a week for about 20 minutes. And those students who used it at that level had an increase about 2.5 times what the norm is for Achieve 3000. I'll also add that this is a program that can be accessed at home. And so about 47%, I believe it was, of our students utilize the program at home. So that adds the number of sessions that they're actually utilizing.
One follow-up question. This data is not confined to just one subpopulation group, correct?
That is correct. We have all kids that in elementary, middle school are able to use this program. Let me actually go back and make a correction there. At the Title I campuses, it's available to all students. At the non-Title I campuses, it's available to students who are struggling with reading.
Yes, but as we look at our different subpops, it's not as if all the growth was centered in one specific subpop and the other subpops had no success whatsoever with the program.
No, the growth is pretty much spread among all of our subpops. That's correct.
Research-based, data-driven, incremental innovation. Very impressive. Thank you, Dr. Macias.
Any other questions from board members? Okay, I need a motion and a second, so if someone wants to jump on in here, that'd be awesome. Bueller, anyone?
Mr. President, I move we approve all items on the consent agenda and as presented are amended.
Motion, Mr. Covey.
I second.
Second, Ms. Mongoya. All those in favor, please signify. It's unanimous. We'll now go on to the superintendent's briefing portion of the agenda. Dr. Henry will make comments and provide information of interest. Dr. Henry.
Thank you, Mr. President, trustees. Just a couple of things I want to add that were not originally on my list. It's kind of gone under the radar a little bit, but I think the board would be proud to know that for the second year in a row, we're the #1 district in the state as analyzed by the Education Resource Group for academic achievement and financial efficiency. So I don't know that it's ever happened 2 years in a row, but we have a two-year winning streak anyway. Also, something that will be interesting on Monday, a comptroller's report will be released that has to do with construction cost, and I'm fully expect that Cypher ISD will have a favorable review in that. We have not seen it, but I would ask you that you may be looking for that, and certainly we will forward it on to you on Monday once it is released. As was mentioned earlier, we had 7,447 graduating seniors from the class of 2014. They were awarded their high school diplomas at ceremonies held at the Berry Center. And as you know, the graduation exercises were also broadcast live over Comcast Channel 16, or they through live streaming on the district YouTube channel. I would like to thank, and it really is impressive, the participation that we had from our Board of Trustees. As the community knows, these 7 men and women up here do not receive any remuneration for their service, but yet they took time off from work to attend, some of them all, but all of the trustees came to the vast majority of graduation ceremonies, and that is very impressive to me, having been a superintendent for 23 years, and it shows the level of dedication of our trustees. So certainly we appreciate you being there to celebrate all of our graduates and their families. Summer school started earlier this month, and as you know, we've got an exciting summer school going on this year. We have over 10,000 students enrolled. Some of the extended year programs that we've started, our literacy camp that Dr. Macias and I visited today, it is going to have a huge impact over the next 2 or 3 years for our students in this district, and it's really amazing, because I was concerned that our parents or our students may not want to come to school in the summer, but they have set it up in such a way that we have parents calling and asking if their kids can come. So we're having great participation, and we've just got the best and brightest teachers and leaders hired this summer to take care of our students. So it's very exciting. Again, as was mentioned earlier, we had our 6th annual CFISD Rigor, Relevance, and Relationship Leadership Conference. We had approximately 1,350 administrators participate in the conference, including leaders from 81 districts across Texas. The opening speaker, John Quinones from ABC 2020, and the What Would You Do program shared his story of growing up in poverty and his road to being a successful journalist. Keynote speakers included several national and international experts. The conference offered 99 different sessions on relationship building, working with students from poverty, best practices, instructional technology, and school safety. Additionally, on June 10th, we had 1,000 teachers from Cy-Fair as well as other districts attend the annual RRR Teacher Conference. The district would like to thank our best practices sponsors: Cy-Fair Educational Foundation, Achieve 3000, Adobe, Edgenuity, Explore Learning, iStation, Quaver Music, McGraw-Hill, Pearson Learning, Region 4, Scholastic, and the Waymeyer Group for their support. And certainly Dr. Macias and her entire staff, along with the Berry Center and their staff, for pulling off what is or has become, it is the preeminent conference in the state of Texas. It doesn't matter what's going on in Austin and who's putting it on, nothing matches the RRR conference, and we just need more room, don't we, Dr. Macias? The Facilities Planning and Construction and Maintenance and Operations Departments are currently managing various projects at 30 campuses, 3 support facilities, and overseeing completion of warranty items for 18 projects at 31 campuses. The Facilities Planning and Construction Department is also overseeing the start of construction for Woodard Elementary School number 54, which will open in August 2015 near Riata Ranch. High School number 11 with an opening date of August 2016, located on our multi-campus site at FM 529 and West Green Boulevard, and the completion of David Anthony Middle School number 18, which will open in August 2014 in Town Lake. In addition, these departments will be relocating a total of 14 portable buildings throughout the district. The Seamless Summer Option Program provided by the Food Service Department will provide nutritious meals at no charge to children at age 18 and younger. Meals will be served at 23 campuses scheduled throughout the summer. As we close this fiscal year on Monday, I can say that in CFISD 13-14 was a really banner year. Our students performed well. Our test scores consistently beat the state average. We're continuing to work on closing the gap between all of our subgroups. We've got programs going on this summer that are new and innovative, and they're going to help in that. We have some exciting things going on with facilities, renovating all of our schools in the next 6 years, building new schools, and improving district facilities. But I would say the number one key to that is that we have great people that work here in this district. We have excellent teachers, great campus leaders, and then all of the people that support those campuses are outstanding, and we all have one focus, and that's not just to have the best school district in the state or in the country, but it's to focus on each individual child and make sure that they have the opportunity to achieve to the best of their ability. So closing out what I think is a banner year, and that would not be possible again without the 7 of you up here. So thank you very much for your support.
Thank you, Dr. Henry. That's a great lead-in to our next item, 7K. The board will consider approval of the contract of employment for the superintendent as presented by the general counsel in closed session. Could I get a motion for closed session, please? Motion, Mr. Hoffman?
Second.
Second, Ms. Hartley. All those in favor, please signify. It's unanimous. The board will now adjourn to closed session under Texas Government Code Open Meetings Act, Sections 551.071, 551.072, 551.073, 551.074, 551.076, 551.082, 551.083, and 551.084. for the purposes stated in the posting of this meeting. If the board determines that any final action, final vote, or decision on any matter considered in the closed session is required, such final vote, action, or decision shall be taken upon the reconvening of this meeting in open session or at a subsequent meeting of the board in open session after proper notice has been posted. We will come back out to come out of closed session for those of you that do want to stay. If you don't want to stay, thank you for coming tonight, and thank you for your participation in Cypher ISD. Have a great evening.